Do you think that Toastmaster Club meeting could happen without role takers? No, I think you all agree that we cannot have a meeting without role takers. And we all are volunteers. There are no student and teacher relationship in Toastmasters. What we have is peer relationships. When you deliver your speech, somebody else will take the role and will evaluate you. So the same, when somebody else is delivering a speech, then you take a role. So that's how our Toastmaster Club meeting happened. And there are no roles which are better than the others. Don't think that being a timer is less important than being a GE or an evaluator. Can you imagine our meeting without a timer? No. Can you imagine our meeting without a grammarian? So each role is very important in our meeting. Our meeting will not happen if we miss even one role. And in fact, the benefits of you of being a role taker, you can learn many skills. For example, when you become a Tom, Toastmaster of the meeting, basically you practice being an MC. And a Tom is very important to get the vibe of the meeting. Whether the meeting is fun, whether the meeting is energetic, it all depends on the Tom. Also, being a Tom helps you to build your leadership skill, to build on how to organize things. In fact, in many of the roles in Toastmasters, you learn many skills. So not just giving, but also receiving. The same as when you become an evaluator. Here in Toastmaster, we give and receive feedbacks. That's how we learn from each other, as we have no teacher and student relationship. So I hope that you will get very enthusiastic to take roles and volunteer yourself to take a role. Don't feel shy or don't feel like you have to, but do it with fun and with passions. And I'm sure that you will benefit a lot. And to do your roles well, so today I will share with you about some role taking, and I will go, in my opinion, from the easiest to the hardest, because especially for the new members, they need to get more confidence. That's why I said from the easiest to the hardest, in my opinion. But of course, everyone has his or her own opinion. Now let's start with the easiest, in my opinion. What is the easiest? Each one of you has a different opinion on what is the easiest. But in my opinion, the two easiest is the timer and the ballot counter. I will discuss first about the ballot counter. If you think of a ballot counter in any competition, your job is to count the votes. Whoever gets the most vote, he or she is the winner. That is the purpose of the ballot counter. But here it's not like a competition, but this is like to drive the speaker to do better by giving the most favorite speaker. And usually we have three of them: table topics, best prepared speaker, and the best evaluator. And when you have to do a ballot counter, especially when this is the first time for you, this is the script that you can do, so you don't feel nervous the first time. After that, you don't need to read the script, and you can just say it without really reading it because you already know. So as a ballot counter, you are a part of the general evaluator team. So when the general evaluator team asks you, okay, please welcome our ballot counter and please explain your role. So this is what you say. Okay, good afternoon, fellow members and most welcome guests. My role as a vote counter is to count the votes for each speaker in each of the following sessions: table topics, prepare speech, and evaluation. Please use this ballot sheet to vote the best speaker in each session and put it in the voting box after each session has finished. This is assuming you have an offline meeting. However, in an online meeting, the method that you want to collect your ballots is up to you. You can use Zoom polls, you can use a DM, direct message to you, you can use a link like Easy Poll, etc. It's up to you. However, it's convenient for you to count the votes. Here, after the evaluation sessions at the end of the meeting, then I will report all the voting results to Toastmasters of the day. In addition, after each of the prepared speeches, we will have 1 minute interval. And during this interval, please give your comment to each speaker with the top portion of the ballot sheet. So usually it's given about 1 minute to give a vote. And then here, to be eligible to be voted, then the table topic has 30 seconds after 2 minutes. And prepared speech has 30 seconds after the allotted time of the project. Usually it's 5 to 7 minutes. And evaluation is 30 seconds after the evaluation time, which is 2 to 3 minutes. And it's also not eligible if the table topics is less than 1 minute. The prepared speech is less than the time allocated. For example, it's 5 to 7 minutes, and it has 30 seconds also at the beginning, which means like 4:30. And the evaluation is not eligible to be voted if it's less than 1:30. So the one that doesn't have 30-second allowance is the table topic speeches. Let's move to the next easier one, which in my opinion is timer script. Timer script is very easy. Basically, you look at the project, and if they have 4 to 6 minutes, then 4 is green, 5 is yellow, and 6 is red. And then the speaker will have 30 seconds to wrap it up. When you are introduced as a timer, then you say, well, ladies and gentlemen and fellow Toastmasters, I will time the table topic speaker, the prepared speeches, and the evaluation. And I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow, and red card. And if you are in offline meeting, then you use a red card or a light bulb. But in an online meeting, you will have a virtual background, and I will share with you the virtual backgrounds that you may want to use it. And here you explain in the table topic speeches, then you say when it's green, yellow, and red, and the same as for the evaluation and also for the prepared speech. To help your job as a timer easier, here I have 2 methods. One is a timer video, the other one is timer virtual background. For the timer virtual background, then you can change your background to green, yellow, or red, depending on the time. And the blue is the normal one, which we can all use. And the other one is the video. I prefer to use the video because then I don't have to remember looking at my time, at my stopwatch, but this one will move itself and change the color. We don't have to look at the stopwatch, and this one will show, let's, for example, here, then it's green and yellow and red. And now let's go back to the Grammarian report. I think that's the third easiest in my opinion. Everyone has favorites, I understand. So as a grammarian, here, what you say, as grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I take note of any misuses of the English language as well as any outstanding word, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. So this is the word of the day. You give the explanation. And here you have a grammarian log. What grammar is not used correctly. And if you have beautiful quotes or thought, words, or saying that you like, then you can also mention it. can also use Grammarian report here. And the third is about our counter. Why do we need to count our counter in Toastmaster meeting? Can you imagine when you're listening to someone's speech and they have too many filler words like do you feel very distracted? I'm sure you do. So that's why we pay attention to and the focus is that we can minimize or eliminate our filler words. So that's why we have the counter. Here is the script. Dear fellow Toastmaster and guests, the purpose of the counter is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and well, but so, and you know. I will also listen to filler sounds, including and I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase such as I, or this means. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. So you put down here like the name and whoever speaks. It is not only for the prepared speaker, but for everyone who speaks in the meeting, including the role taker. And the next one is we have general evaluator. In every meeting, we try to improve to get better and better. The same as when we deliver our speech, we have an evaluator to help us improve our speech. The general evaluator role is to evaluate the meeting so that the club can improve its meeting. And the general evaluator will evaluate from the beginning, even before the meeting, until after the meeting. So here is when you are introduced as a general evaluator, you say the purpose of the general evaluator is to evaluate everything that takes place throughout the meeting. During the meeting, I will take note on everything that happens and doesn't happen. I will evaluate its participants on the meeting program and look for good examples of preparation, organization, delivery, enthusiasm, observation, and performance of duties. At the end of the meeting, I will give my report. So thank you, Madam or Mr. Toastmaster. And there is a checklist here before the meeting, meeting opening, and Toastmaster, and the general evaluator, also topic master. And the next one is we have a topic master, which is the table topics. The table topics usually give a topic in accordance or in conjunction with the theme that the club chooses for that day. And the table topic is used to help us practice impromptu speech is 1 to 2 minutes. So here is the script. If you are introduced, then basically the purpose of the topic master is to facilitate table topics where guests and members will have the opportunity to practice the impromptu speaking. I will introduce a topic and call on speaker who will be given 2 minutes to speak on the subjects. When you have a guest, it's better to explain about what table topic is, how much time they have, and better to choose a member who is familiar with table topics to give an example before you call on the guests. And the next one is the Toastmaster of the day, and this is like a Tom or an MC in an event. And this is the introduction that you have. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. As Toastmaster of the day, it is my responsibility to introduce today's speaker, blah, 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 yeah? And this is what you observe before what you have to do. There's a checklist before the meeting, at the meeting, when introduced, and after speeches. And the role of the table topic master is very important because the vibe of the meeting depends on the Tom or Toastmaster of the meeting. And here, actually, I also give, and this is, I use Maranatha because Maranatha is my club. I use the whole script from the beginning to the end of the meeting. So it's very easy for the first timer to follow. So I hope that my explanation help you to get more confident to take role in Toastmasters. And the first attempt would be very scary for the beginner, but the second one will be a lot easier. And I would suggest all of you to take at least once at the beginning for all role takers, and then you repeat again. So you get more confidence and you gain the benefit. So I hope that my speech is helpful to you, and take actions and you will get benefit of it. Thank you.